From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Monday, July the 25th, 2022. Israeli Prime Minister Yair Lapid addressed the situation regarding the activity of the Jewish agency in Russia, leading a discussion yesterday with several government ministers, including of Aliyah and Integration, Pnina Tamano-Shata, and Foreign Affairs Director General Alon Ushpiz, as well as with the leaders and representatives of the Jewish Agency and of the World Zionist Organization. Lapid saying that closing the Jewish Agency offices in Russia would be a serious event that would affect relations. Lapid also said he instructed Israel's legal delegation to be prepared to depart for Moscow as soon as the Russian approval for talks is received. As we reported to you last week, Russia reportedly filed an appeal with the district court in Moscow for the dissolution of the offices of the Jewish Agency in Russia, which helps Jews immigrate to Israel. Ynet cited former head of the Jewish Agency and former Soviet refusenik Natan Sharansky, saying that Russia is trying to push whoever it can to undermine the Western sanctions. Russia is isolated because of its invasion of Ukraine, and though Israel's criticism of it is on a small scale, it still tries to push us too. An attempted stabbing attack was reported yesterday in the West Bank. The IDF said that a soldier who was on routine security activity at the Tapuach Junction identified a terrorist armed with a knife approaching him. The soldier followed arrest protocol, including shooting his weapon into the air, after which the terrorist stopped. The terrorist was arrested and handed over for further investigation by the security forces. A small group waving Nazi flags was seen marching outside the Tampa Convention Center in Florida on Saturday, spewing hateful anti-Semitic conspiracy theories and Holocaust denial, also reportedly handing out anti-Semitic flyers. This while the Turning Point USA's Student Action Summit was taking place inside the center. Florida Holocaust Museum Chairman Mike Eigel said openly and proudly displaying genocidal symbols is a direct threat to the Jewish community. Carrying the Nazi flag or that of the SS, the organization responsible for some of the worst atrocities of the Holocaust, is an indefensible act of pure hatred. Eigel said the museum calls upon everyone, Jew and non-Jew, regardless of political affiliation, to condemn this blatant anti-Semitism in the strongest possible terms. This, he said, should matter to everyone. A spokesperson for Turning Point said the demonstration had no affiliation with the conference and that it condemns these ideologies in the strongest of terms. Turning now to the arts, BAFTA, the British Academy of Film and Television Arts, announced its annual student awards for 2022, and among them, 2 Israeli film students who won Best Live Action for Girl Number 60427. Shulamit Lifshitz and Oriel Berkovitz are students at the Ma'aleh School of Television, Film, and the Arts in Jerusalem. Their film, based on the real-life experience of Lifshitz and her grandmother, tells of a young girl's discovery of her grandmother's secret diary, which she kept as a child during the Holocaust in Poland. The film is the first ever finalist from Israel and the first winner. The Ma'aleh School congratulated their students on what they said was a deep and emotional film that brings to extraordinary artistic expression the experiences of the 3rd generation of Holocaust survivors. And the critically acclaimed Fiddler on the Roof in Yiddish is making a comeback. The National Yiddish Theater Volksbühne announced a 7-week return engagement of the award-winning production from November the 13th to January the 1st, Off-Broadway at New World Stages in New York City. The show will once again star Steven Skybell as Tevye and will be directed once again by the legendary Joel Grey. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Monday, July the 25th. At 7 o'clock, discover the groundbreaking research at Ben-Gurion University of the Negev to deal with the climate crisis, hosted by Noa Tishby from Americans for Ben-Gurion University. At 8, Shacharazani speaks with Mordechai Kedar of Bar-Ilan University, who talks about Arab political parties in Israel, his unique 8-state solution, and the likelihood of normalization between Israel and Saudi Arabia. At 8:30, students from the Alexander Muss High School in Israel talk about their experiences working with JNF's environmental initiatives. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with filmmaker Galen Ross, who talks about her film Killing Kastner. At 10, a look at the phenomenon of Holocaust fatigue. And coming up next, I speak with Rabbi Arie Hasit, who shares his recent experience at the Kotel, officiating a bar-mitzvah when religious extremists disrupted prayers at the egalitarian section of the Western Wall. And with Dan Elbaum, who talks about the recently passed resolution by the Jewish Agency that demands the Kotel be safe for all Jews to worship. And that's the JBS News Update for Monday, July the 25th, 2022. I'm Teisha Bader. Stay healthy, stay well.